Hello Stampers, Brenda Hillard here from Create with Brenda. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and I'd like to welcome you today. I have a really fun project for us, a little bit different, and I'm going to be showing you a lot of pieces that are die cut, and you're probably like, why are you showing us all of these dies when we can't even buy a machine right now? Well, I have some really exciting news and a suggestion for you with the advent of our new Stampin' Cut and Emboss machines. So anyway, again, my name is Brenda Hillard. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I can be found at createwithbrenda.com. I use a host code every month. The host code this month is listed here. And my host code gift with a minimum product order of $50 is the Dandelion 3D embossing folder from our 2020-2021 annual catalog. It's a beautiful embossing folder, and just wait till I show you more information about our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machines, which you will want for sure, and then you will have your embossing folder for your new machine. This is an exclusive offer from me, good through July 31st of 2020, and only one host code gift per person per month. So let's get to the more exciting news here, and that is the new Stampin' Cut and Emboss machines from Stampin' Up! So when you look at the picture, you can see a big one and a little one. That's right, two sizes coming. And the reason I'm telling you about this is that if you join my team, Create with Brenda, this month, next month, these are going to be, well, let me back up. The standard size Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine will be available for pre-order to demonstrators only beginning August 4th. So join my team, not only for the deal, but for the fun. I love having new members, and I try to keep things interesting and keep you informed. So just want to throw this out there too. The pricing, the standard machine is going to be available August 4th as a demo pre-order only. This machine has a wide 6-inch platform, and it will work with all of our dies, all of our cutting plates. But it does come with a base plate, the die plate, 2 cutting plates, and then the specialty plate for the thin dies. The mini, which there hasn't been any talk or release of, but just to know that there is a mini coming, that particular machine has a 3.5-inch platform, and it works with many of the smaller dies and smaller embossing folders. So for those of you that are on the go or do your stamp and scraps, this machine weighs approximately 2.7 pounds, and it folds up, and it's very easy and very portable, and it's at a very, very reasonable price of $60 US. So there's that information. The card I want to show you today is this little beauty with the gold foil papers, and it uses the embossing folder and the dies. So is what I wanted to share with you is this embossing folder comes from the 2020-2021 annual catalog. And they're making them smaller. You can see that they're narrow but long, and these are going to be perfect when that mini Stampin' Cut and embossing machine is released. But they also work well in the standard size. So this particular set of embossing folders is from the Forever Fern suite. It's called the Greenery Embossing Folders, and you can just buy the folders separately. So I used those on this piece of Very Vanilla. I think you can see the the embossing. I've got some pretty good shadows going here, but I tried to work that out. So anyway, there's the card I'm going to be showing you today. This sentiment here, the just because, is from this fun set called Lovely You. And the fonts in here are just amazing, and the sentiments even more so. So I use this set a lot. All right, so let's start. Is what I want to show you first of all is, you see the paper behind the poppies here? I'm going to show you how to make that. So is what we need is just a piece of the Very Vanilla. I'm going to bring in one of the new in colors, Bumblebee and Poppy Parade. So is what we're going to do, and I need a piece of scrap paper. Right here. And I'm going to set this up because I'm going to be using the spritzer, and it gets a little messy, a little crazy, so protect your work surfaces well. So let's put our piece of Very Vanilla here. All right, and I've got one of our acrylic blocks. This is the E block, and is what I'm going to do. And when you do this, you always start with your light ink first. So out of the two colors I've chosen, the Poppy Parade and the Bumblebee is the light color. So I'm going to just take it, and I'm going to put the stamp pad directly on the acrylic block, okay? Then I'm going to take the Poppy Parade, which is our dark color, so second with the dark color, because it won't matter that the Bumblebee gets on our pad. Okay, now you can see I've got the block covered well. I'm going to bring in my water spritzer. These are really nice if you don't have them. Kind of a fun thing to have. They work well for a lot of things. And I found the more water I put on, the better the mix. So you can see my spray here. So like I said, protect your work surface. Now I'm going to bring my cardstock in, and I'm just going to set my block down. Just give that a minute to kind of blend and soak into the paper. And then when you lift up, you've got this beautiful, it almost looks watercolored, or I'm going to call it tie-dye. That's how I'm going to name the flower technique. And it looks really dark right now, but as it dries, it really does lighten up and becomes just beautiful paper. So there's that technique. So is what I did. Of course, you have to let that dry. But I wanted to show you, I took the dies, and you guys, this is a first too. Stampin' Up! Actually brought back some of the bundles from the Occasions catalog. They didn't call it Occasions this year. It was the January to June. It was January through June. And they brought them back at bundle pricing. So in the annual catalog, you will see that you can still get the Peaceful Moments, which these sentiments are really good. If you haven't looked at them, please do so. The bundle is on page 178 in the new catalog. If you don't have a new catalog, I'd be happy to send you one. And then here are the Poppy Moments dies, 16 dies. And I chose to use this. I'm going to get this out of the way so you can see what I'm picking off from here. So I cut this out for the large poppy base, this one, and then I chose this one for the littler poppy. And then you have these that actually fit, and with those I cut using the gold foil with this die for the center. So it was a lot of cutting, but I hope that you'll agree with me that when you look at this card, the cutting is really worth the effort for how beautiful this card really turns out. So let's assemble our card. I have a piece of the, oh my gosh, you guys, I forgot the color of my paper. It is, I want to say that it's Grapefruit Grove, but I don't think that's right. It is, it isn't right. It is the, oh, got it. Mango Melody. There we go. All right, so we've got that. And then I took our die cut piece with a little bit of our Tombow multi-purpose glue, and I just added a little bit to the wider pieces. You don't really need a lot because it does stick pretty well. And then is how I line this up, as you see these two bumps. I just put that right over the top of our die cut piece. So there's that. And then of course, to give it a little dimension, I had told you I cut out that centerpiece with the gold foil. So I just added that right onto the flower, and I think it turned out beautiful. I hope you do too. So this one, you know, and like I said, every flower turns out different. So I've got like this one that has more of the yellows. This one's a little bit more of the Poppy Parade. You can see this one has some modeling from the stamping. So every flower turns out a little bit different, okay? This one has more of the bumblebee color. So I'm gonna add the multi-purpose glue to the back. And again, I'm just gonna line this up and giving the center a pretty good squeeze, because that's the one that has the most surface area for our adhesive. So there's the flowers ready to go for our card. I then took another piece of the Very Vanilla, and this one measures 3 by 5.5. And I used again one of the embossing folders from the Greenery embossing set, ran that through the Stampin' Emboss machine. Remember, it's coming. Join my team. I'd love to have you. So the new Stampin' Seal has this little tip that you need to take off. And there is a learning curve with this. We were used to, with the snail, keeping this flush and going across. This one, in order to get it started, you sometimes do have to just kind of bring the gears forward a little bit. But once you have that, then you want to tip up and swipe. And you do not have to press hard with this one, and it doesn't make noise. So these are really nice. If you're new to stamping, this should be on your stamping wish list. And when you order these, you always can reuse your case. And then there's a cartridge refill. So kind of like the Stampin' Pads, don't ever throw your Stampin' Pads away. There's always re-inkers. So anyway, give the Stampin' Seal a try. Be happy to help you with that. So I'm just gonna, whoops, I got a little ahead of myself. I needed 2 strips. They measure 5.5 by 1/2 inch. And is what I did with those, you can see here on the finished card, just on each edge. So I ran my Stampin' Seal down the sides, and I'm just gonna eyeball to give this the edge, and you can see this one I left a little bit long, and that's okay. I'll show you why I do that. And then there's this. All right, so now I'm just going to bring in my little snips, and then I can cut this flush with my card so that all the edges are nice and even and look tidy on my card. So now I need to add a little bit more of the Stampin' Seal. And then I'm just going to center that on the front of my card. All right. The large poppy, I just put the Stampin' Seal right on the back and layered that up here. The little poppy, I did use our Stampin' Dimensionals, sticky on both sides. And I live in Minnesota where it's very humid, and today it is super humid and hot. In fact, the windows on our house are fogged up because we have the air conditioner on, but it's that hot outside. It's like rainforest hot and humid. All right, I just took this one and gave that a little pop up with the dimensionals. One thing I forgot to do, and I'm sorry about that, but this needed to be tucked underneath. There we go. And then I'm just going to bring it across and cut it. This is our gold metallic edge ribbon. It's really, really fun. Comes in both silver and gold. Let's see if I can get this up. Our new adhesive has got some serious sticking power. Okay, so there's my ribbon. Normally I would have put that down before I put that center panel. I kind of got ahead of myself there. And then is what I like to do is just slide the ribbon through, wrap it, and just tie my knot. Trim my edges. And I get a really, really nice looking little tie, and it lays flat, so it works well for mailing. Now, our next step is this little verse, and I took Memento ink, the black Memento. You could use Early Espresso as well, and a brown would be really pretty in there. Another thing that would be super pretty is to do some gold embossing with the Versamark on the sentiment. Might have to try one of those. And as what I did is I just cut at an angle, and using our dimensionals, added to the back of the sentiment. And then I just tucked it in behind our little poppy there. And I wanted to have enough to hang over on our Mango Melody here. A little bit long, so I'm just going to trim. So there's our sentiment. And then it just felt like I had so much gold shiny with the ribbon and the poppies that I decided to bring in some of our gold gilded gems. These were on back order, but they're back. I just got mine in the mail today. So there's our card. Lots of pieces, but again, I think the wow factor is worth the work. Then, me being me, I like having a light colored insert, so I did cut a piece of the Very Vanilla that measures 4 by 5 1/4. And as what I like to do is just add so that it's coordinating with the front. I'm just going to add some Stampin' Seal to a piece of the 1/2 inch gold foil. And I'm just going to line that up with the edge of our card. And I didn't put it exactly to the edge, just close. And again, I can trim this and just center it up in the inside of our card. So there it is. I hope you like my project. I hope you'll give it a try. Be sure to give me a thumbs up. I love comments. Or subscribe, and then you will be notified when I add new projects. Have a great day, everybody. Happy stamping. Bye-bye.